What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this one, it's about time we remake it. We know a little bit more now. The market has changed. We're making the what is high ticket sales video. Now, I made this video 2 years ago, but like I said, things are different now. There's a lot of different people in this space. There's a lot of different offers, the way these businesses are run, the way the market is perceived. And so in this video, my goal is to give you the most real and raw outlook into what is happening right now in high ticket sales. I'm not going to sell you a dream. I'm not going to make it sound pretty. I'm not going to make it sound easy. This is not easy for most people, and I'm just going to tell it how it is. So let's get into it. By the way, it's kind of a late night. Spent a lot of time putting prep into this, procrastinated a little longer than I should have, but the video's here and I need to record it. So I might be a little bit low energy, but we're going to push through. So you want to know, what is high ticket sales? You've heard it online, you've seen ads, you got friends who do it, you have a friend who maybe sent you this video because they want you to do it, and you're like, what is high ticket sales, dude? What do you sell? How expensive is it? You probably have a lot of questions, and I have a lot of answers. Thankfully, you clicked on the right video. So in this video, we're going to talk about two different things. One, we're going to talk about the essentials. That's going to be part one. I'm going to give you some context on me. I'm going to tell you about what is high ticket sales, what price point makes it high ticket, what are we selling, where do the leads come from, how are we selling, what are the common roles in pay, who can sell in this industry, and who can't sell in this industry. That's part one. That's going to give you a good pulse on what this even is. Now, part two is the stuff that you might have some questions about, or you might not even know are real considerations, but if you do intend to look into this further, this is going to be worth your time, and I'm going to call it the truth, okay? So that's going to be addressing the reputation of high ticket sales, addressing the pyramid scheme or MLM allegations, talking about if you need to pay somebody to do this, if job placement is real, how to guarantee your success, if it's saturated, do a lot of people fail, how you can land the best jobs, any shortcuts if they exist, and how I can potentially help you make this easier. So I'm going to be moving myself around the screen, but for right now, I think we're good. For context, before we get into it, I'm Dylan. I'm from San Antonio. I now live in Austin. I quit a high-paying sales job right out of school to basically go remote. I had the internet money bug. I recreated a six-figure income within 6 months, working a part-time schedule and just doing some side work in the sales space. That's when I started the Serial Sales Community, which was a $9 per month group chat. Some of that side work was consisting of B2B recruiting, consulting, sales process review, build outs. I was posting on social media. Business owners found it. They wanted help. In 2023, I started a done-for-you sales agency where we basically ran outsourced sales teams for these online businesses. Once we scaled that up, we worked with a handful of offers that went from being an idea in somebody's head, $0 to over $500,000 up to $1 million per month. The agency itself, we scaled from $0 to $700,000 in a month in 2024. Not all profit, a lot of expenses, but there's some profit in there. The community that I run, we changed the model many times and got that to a six-figure per month revenue level. But most importantly, I've worked with over 500 reps one-on-one or in a small group setting to land jobs. So I know what works and what doesn't. And if you think I'm just here making up numbers, if you don't know who I am at all, here's me making close to my old annual salary in the span of 4 minutes. And here's some wire transactions from June and July of last year. This was before the agency. By the way, I sold the agency. I now own this company because of sales. It's a sales media company, not exclusively in the high ticket space, but we have a newsletter, podcast, social accounts, all that. But anyways, here's me in roofing. This was 2022. Why I quit roofing, I was driving too much. It was dangerous. I was hardly selling because I was driving so much. I was location dependent, grueling Texas summers, super hot in those attics. My income was capped by how many places I could drive to, how many appointments, and it was just overall low leverage. I was working at the time the dream job straight out of school, but I knew there was more out there. Fast forward to now, 2023, 24, 25, I've had 3 in-person events here in Austin, Texas, where we've had people fly in from all over the world for a full long weekend event. And if this weren't real, those photos would look less like this and more like an angry mob with torches and pitchforks running after me, right? Or in fact, they probably wouldn't even come down and spend the money to be in Austin, Texas if this weren't what I'm about to tell you it is. But instead, they look like this. That's me and a bunch of guys in the community that I run with their 10K, 20K, and 30K per month trophies. These are just the guys that did not already receive them through the mail and the ones that did come down to Austin for our event. In addition to that, I know you're probably skeptical, so I'm just going to throw it out there. We have this playlist at the time of recording. There's 51 interviews. You can see 51 full length. I think it's over 15 hours of one-on-one content of people coming in and making this work. Now, getting to the first points, what is high ticket sales and what price point is considered high ticket? And I'm probably going to make myself smaller here so we can be sure to see everything. So what is high ticket sales? Well, high ticket sales, I'm going to really break it down for you here. And my definition might be different than other people's, but this is the way that I see it. And this is the way that I feel good sharing with other people. High ticket sales is a form of contracted remote sales job, traditionally selling to inbound leads for online businesses. We're going to give it some more definition. Other common names are going to be remote closing, remote sales, remote 1099 sales, contracted sales, high ticket sales. Now, what price point is high ticket? The big question. Honestly, I don't really know where this name came from. When I was in roofing, I was selling roofs that were way more expensive than a lot of what is being sold in the high ticket industry. And so if I had to guess, it's a play on the common pricing terms in online marketing of low ticket, mid ticket, which do not require sales calls before a purchase. High ticket typically just implies that it's expensive enough to prompt a conversation before a purchase to make sure there's proper alignment. In my mind, this starts at about $1,500 to $2,000, very commonly between $3,000 and $10,000, and while rare, this can exceed $100,000. Now, who are we selling for? You're selling for earlier stage companies that have a bottleneck in their sales process. They have a lead generation mechanism that works, but if they're selling all day, they have no time to run other parts of their business, so this prevents them from scaling. This is why a 1099 sales hire is one of the first, if not the first hire that is made within these bootstrapped businesses. Now, the marketing channel, these companies are typically marketing through easily scalable lead sources. I'm going to say that a couple of times throughout this. There are really two main lead sources for most of these high ticket offers. One is going to be organic content. Two is going to be paid ads. There are some others, but less common depending on the offer type: cold calling, cold email, cold DMs, affiliate partnerships, some others in there too. The common types of businesses that we are selling for, we must be able to hit their ICP, ideal client profile, through one of these scalable channels. We must be able to charge a price point that allows them to incentivize sales talent properly without coming much out of pocket, and still have profit after to put back into marketing to continue growing. These are cash flow positive businesses without funding rounds, bootstrapped. These businesses can be B2C or B2B. In case you don't know what that is, you can sell to a person or you can sell to a business. Now, where you commonly find these traits is going to be online, remote, high margin, information or service heavy businesses, low cost of goods, coaching, consulting, services, agencies, events, boot camps, communities, masterminds, software. And there's some other ones in there, but this is, a bulk of it for sure. What are we selling? I'm glad you asked. There's three main offer types: DIY, DWI, DFY. Do it yourself, done with you, done for you. Each of these can exist within the previously mentioned business types, B2C and B2B. You are always selling information, resources, access, or a provided service. Example: coaching, consulting, services, the top three from that list I mentioned. Within each of these, there can be DIY, DWI, DFY. Now, as the level of involvement increases from DIY to DFY, the amount of money that you can charge increases. The cost of the problem that you are solving increases. Therefore, the money you can charge increases. Further example, within each of these can be B2C or B2B. Formatting is a little weird on this, but C is customer, B is business. Now, you might be wondering what kind of businesses or what topics. Well, here's a good list. All of these things can be packaged up and sold to somebody, a person or a business, to make them better, more efficient, more profitable, more sustainable, to remove them from this. Really anything under the sun. People are learning every single day about anything under the sun. I could even throw Pokemon cards in here because people are paying to learn how to trade and collect Pokemon cards. Now, further example here. Let's say we're selling fitness. I feel like this is one that's very understandable for the average person. You go to the gym, there's a personal trainer. One day, the personal trainer finds out that they can train clients remote and make a lot more money and do it from home. So they start doing that. Well, this is what that could look like. Coaching. So if we have coaching, do it yourself for a customer, that might look like, hey, download this PDF. It's a fitness and meal plan for you if you want to get a six-pack before summer. This is going to be kind of one size fits all customization. That's DIY. Now, coaching, done with you. This is going to be like custom plans and accountability, maybe a weekly call, maybe looking at your macros, that kind of thing. A little bit more involvement. It's also going to be a little bit more expensive. Then there's a done for you with the customer. That is like, hey, we're going to place your grocery order and make this so easy for you. We're going to order the supplements to your front door. And all you have to do is take photos of this and we're going to track it for you too in MyFitnessPal. For some of these offers, there does become an overlap between like coaching and consulting or consulting and services. And so, some of these examples are not going to be super perfect, but for the sake of showing you what I mean, that's what I'm attempting to do here. Now, consulting, done with you, business. When I think consulting, I think more of an expertise, professional, usually more of a business. Coaching is more like traditionally more B2C. Consulting is like you've been somewhere, you've done that, and now you're probably going to get paid more than a coach to solve this problem. Done with you coaching, B2B, might be something like, hey, you would be working like with trainers, with fitness coaches, weight loss coaches. We will review your fitness business's systems and help optimize. That's super general, but that's an example for sure. Or a service, DIY, this will be like, hey, we will give you this proven sales CRM for your business. Go install it. Here's the CRM. Go do what you need to do with it. Very DIY. That stuff is, they can charge a lot of money, but that stuff is pretty tough if you're on the receiving end of it. Now there's done with you, business to business. We will make you ad creatives every week. You just got to load them up, manage them, put the spend, and watch them. So it's like a hybrid, like we're going to do some of it. And then this one, we are your done for you sales team. You don't think about sales, and notice that's business to business, right? So done for you, business to business. These are the ones that you can charge the most money for, and they're usually going to be the most work. Let's talk about another example. We're going to talk about Airbnb. You guys know if you want to start an Airbnb portfolio, let's say you don't know anybody who does this, where are you going to go? You're going to go to YouTube. You're going to find someone that knows how to do it. If they're good at it, they're probably going to have something to show you how to do it because they're probably a capitalist and they want to make money for the skill they have. You don't go to college to learn Airbnb, okay? And you can do it on your own, but that could be costly. So a lot of times if you work with the right person, you will save money by doing that. And that's an example of something that you can sell to somebody. So we're going to go through like the same iterations, but for Airbnb. Coaching, DIY. Here's a PDF checklist, strictly information, a 15-step before you buy checklist to make sure you don't get screwed on your next property. Very low commitment. Something like this isn't going to be too expensive. You probably don't even need a closer for this. Honestly, DIY is a little bit faded out in the closing space. Most of these offers that are going to be commanding a high price point are going to be done with you or done for you. Anyways, just for the sake of the example, done with you, B2C. We're going to help, we're going to put you in a community. We're going to help you review your deals. We're going to give you ongoing support and weekly calls, and we'll even introduce you to our lender network. Now, they're not the ones that can sign on the property. They're not the ones that can go and furnish the property. They're not going to do all that and list it and manage it, but they're going to help you with some of it. Then there's done for you. We will source your first deal and help you execute. But again, they're not going to sign on it. So like this is where it kind of gets blurred on the done for you, done with you. And then we'll talk about this some more, but the B2C and B2B can get blurred on something like this as well. So consulting, done with you, B2B, portfolio evaluation and savings analysis. We'll make your Airbnb more profitable. You have to implement it, but we'll show you how to do it. It's like a 50-50 kind of deal. Services, DIY, B2B. Here's a proven booking calendar template to increase your conversions by 10%. You go install it. Probably a pretty cheap asset. Services, done with you, B2B. We will teach you how to manage cleaners more efficiently. And maybe we'll even make you a referral to some of these cleaners. So what you'll notice on the DIY versus the DWI, there's like a very clear break in where their job is done and when yours starts. DWI, depending on the niche, the offer, who you're selling it to, it can be a little bit more of a gradual thing. Now, done for you service, we are going to manage your Airbnb portfolio for you. We are a property management company. And this is where you start to see where the lines blur between online high-ticket businesses and just normal businesses. If you can take these online high-ticket skill sets and apply them to normal, old-school, traditional businesses, you will be a very wealthy man. Anyways, here's just some really quick other examples. some examples of things that could be done for you, done with you. I mean, just anything under the sun, you guys. Don't get too hung up on this right now, but there's definitely some that I would recommend over others. I think we're about to talk about that. So who are we selling to? One, we're selling to consumers. You are selling to individuals who want something they don't have. This can be a skill, talent, hobby, interest, sport, character trait, etc. And there's a few different types of consumers, okay? There's 0 to 1. You're just teaching them how to do something, how to do sales, how to do copywriting. 1 to 10 is how to get better. How to go from 12% body fat to 8% body fat with a six pack. How to go from a kind of profitable trader to a really profitable trader. Or 10 to 100 is how to get to the next level, how to become a world-class competing power lifter. I'm telling you, you can do anything. There's powerlifting coaches out there. I don't think that's news to y'all. How to become a top 1% sales rep and make $30,000 per month. There's like elite performance coaches. Think like Tony Robbins. And then businesses. You are selling to businesses who want something they don't have. This can be related to any function of a business that can become more profitable, more sustainable, faster, or outsourced. Pro tip. B2C versus B2B is not always black and white. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Sometimes it can be more of a spectrum. Example, Airbnb. On the left end here, you have W2 worker who wants to start. That's definitely B2C. On the far right end, you have someone who's 100 properties under management. We're still talking about Airbnb. And so where is the line drawn? It's a good freaking question. Depends. And even if the line isn't perfectly drawn, it doesn't really matter. You're going to be doing a lot of the same stuff. In the middle here, we have someone who's 3 properties in, but it's a side hustle. And then we have someone who's full-time, but not very successful. Are they B2C? Are they B2B? You can make the argument for both. However, you see this little dotted line here? This is my favorite place to sell because when you get all the way to the low level 0 to 1 B2C, there's a lot more people with a lot less money. When you get all the way to the far end on the B2B, there's a lot less people. They have a lot more money. The sales cycle is going to take a lot longer. Long sales cycles and commission-only sales aren't very good friends. So if you look at these triangles that I made, you can clearly see there's more opportunity in the middle. I'm going to call these people prosumers. I just recently learned this word. I think it's a pretty good representation. Now, where do these leads come from? I told you how. They come from companies with scalable marketing channels, and I told you who, they're consumers or businesses. But what does this actually look like in practice? The company generates and routes the leads directly to you as soon as possible to be progressed through their sales cycle. In most cases, you should not be responsible for generating these leads. That defeats the purpose of the whole commission-only thing. The closer, we're going to talk about roles more in just a minute, but the closer, hopefully you're familiar with that. The leads are booked inbound into your calendar to speak at a future date regarding the product or service you offer. As an appointment setter, there are a lot of different structures on how you can possibly work, but you can be setting interested prospects to speak with a closer. You can be calling, confirming, and qualifying self-bookings, people who booked without an appointment setter. You can set people who inquired but missed their meeting. You basically no-shows. You can set leads who fell off. Maybe they had the meeting 6 months ago, never heard from them, call them up, set them again. Set leads who inquired on a similar product. Maybe you have a cheaper product and you talk to them about the more expensive one. You can call and confirm day of calls, etc. In short, these companies are always trying to generate more leads without sacrificing lead quality. That is the name of the game. Because they are inbound, interested, and qualified, this is an easy-ish opportunity for a skilled salesperson to close and earn. Now, unique circumstances, there are some outbound roles. They're usually pretty bad. The good ones will give you a base pay or a more creative pay structure that justifies outbound efforts. However, I would avoid outbound in the high ticket sales industry. There's just way too many good inbound roles for you to be doing outbound. Now, how are we selling? Common structures, there's really 2, 1 call close or 2 call close. Most fall into the 1 call close if the price is higher and there is more on the line, B2B, maybe decision makers, 2 call can be more common. Here's an example of a 1 call close. This is a YouTube video on my channel. Go check out my education playlist after this if you haven't. I have a ton of stuff, like 50 something videos. Selling style. Everybody has their own style. There are many that work, but most teams have a preference and they will train you on that. Most styles are crafted to promote urgency, hence the 1 or 2 call close. Most calls should be booked with this as the expectation on the prospect's end and the closer's end. Common roles in pay. Phone, appointment setter. This is a more entry-level position. Shorter conversations, less demanding conversations. Quantity is kind of more important than quality. While quality is important, but more important how many people you call, how fast you call them, than how well you call them. You're selling a free meeting, not something with a price tag. This is usually the first or second hire to the sales team, depending on the skill sets of the business owner. Then closer. Everybody has their own style. There are many that work. Most teams have a preference and they'll train you on that. And I'm just realizing, guys, I didn't customize this bullet point. All right, let me back this out. Let's pretend it was customized. It's a late night. This is not the more entry-level position. This is usually where some experience has been had. These are longer, more meaningful conversations. Quality is definitely more important than quantity. You need to be more skilled because you're asking for money, probably a lot. And this could also be the first or second hire to the sales team, depending on, again, the strengths or weaknesses or the needs of the business and the business owner. Let's talk about pay for the appointment setter. 5% commission is standard, down to 2% on expensive or high volume offers, up to 10% on less expensive offers or lower volume. 4 to 6K per month is pretty standard. 5 to 8 is not unlikely. 8 to 12 is if you're on a good offer and you perform. And 12K plus is for a great offer. These numbers are all possible, but less likely with part-time. You guys can choose to believe me or not, but I know someone personally that made $30,000 in a month as an appointment setter about 2 months ago. So I just want to let you know that that's out there. You can also make $0 in a month as an appointment setter. Closer pay. 10 is standard, down to 7 on expensive or high volume offers, or sometimes more reputable offers that drive a lot of qualified or warm leads. Up to 20 on high margin or cheaper offers, or just offers with colder lead flow. 5 to 8K a month is pretty standard for a good role. 7 to 12 is not unlikely. 12 to 20 is standard for like a good offer with good performance, and 20K for a great offer. Same thing with the part-time. It's possible, makes it more unlikely. I know someone who's made over $80,000 in a month as a closer. So 30,000 as a setter, 80,000 as a closer. For both of those, I know a lot of people who have made $0. It's important you know that. Now let's talk about there's 2 other roles. The setting and closing are the 2 most common, but there's 2 others. One is DM appointment setting. Maybe you've heard of it, but you are responsible for all the same outcomes as a phone setter, but just through text and typically on a social platform like Instagram. Often the most flexible role in the high ticket sales niche where you can make good money. They should still be driving inbound leads and you should be using their account, not yours. Never use yours. Not all teams offer this. Some do, and this is the easiest one to stack alongside a normal job if you have to work in person or something like that. The next one, sales management. You are responsible for the sales team's overall performance in addition to communication with other departments of the business. This role is typically the evolution beyond closer, despite the best closers not always being the best sales managers. You will oftentimes make more as a top closer than a sales manager, and these are usually found in later stage teams. Not all teams have sales managers. DM appointment setting pay is pretty common in terms of percentages to the phone setting, except I would say the earnings are just slightly lower on average. So check out these numbers here, slightly lower. I've probably seen people be in the 12 to 15 range on DMs. I've also seen a lot of people make $0. So again, it's possible part-time, but sales management, a little bit different. 5% commission is pretty standard. Sometimes there's more base pay in there, sometimes some incentives. Down to 3% on some offers, up to 10 on others. 5 to 8K a month is pretty standard. 8 to 12 is not unlikely. 10 to 15 on a good offer. 15K on a great offer. I don't know any sales managers that are just strictly sales managers and not agency owners that have made $80,000 in a month. I know some that have done over 30 though, and some that have done $0. Who can sell in this industry? Anybody. You can. As long as you have time, English, and Wi-Fi, those are the only 3 things that without a doubt, if you don't have them, you cannot do this. Sales experience, don't need it, but it does make it easier. You can sell across country lines, work while you travel. You just need to manage your expectations on how fast you can hit certain numbers based on where you're starting and what the comp looks like at that level. Comp being competition, not compensation. Who can't sell in this industry? I just told you, people who do not speak English. It's not impossible, but very hard, probably not worth it. There are people who sell in Spanish. No Wi-Fi. How are you supposed to do anything? How are you even watching this video if you don't have Wi-Fi? No time. If you don't want it bad enough to find time, then don't do it. And that's going to be part 1, you guys, the essentials. Little intermission here. If you just want to know what high ticket sales is, hopefully you have a better idea. You can sell anything online where they drive inbound leads, probably through social media or paid ads over any interest, hobby, topic, skill, service, whatever. You can sell it to the consumers, the businesses. It's a very fast growing market. You've probably seen people like Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, companies like WAP, School. It is the future. People hate college. People hate 9-to-5s. People hate golden handcuffs. Everyone wants to do their own thing. The internet makes that possible. So high ticket sales, it is real. It is legit, but we're about to get into some good stuff, you guys. Drum roll, please. Make me small again. We're going to get into part 2, the truth, the stuff that nobody else is going to tell you. Here's a recap of the truth, what we're about to cover. We're going to talk about the overall reputation of high ticket sales. We're going to address the pyramid scheme and MLM allegations. You're going to find out if you need to pay someone to do this. Is job placement real? How do you guarantee success? Is it saturated? Do a lot of people fail? How do I land the best jobs? Are there any shortcuts? How can I help you do this? Let's talk about the reputation. I don't know how you got to this video. If this is the first you're hearing of high ticket sales, if so, I'm glad this is your starting point. If not, you might have a positive idea, you might have negative on it, or you might not have any idea. Just like anything, there's people who love it, there's people who hate it, there's people that don't know about it. Most people who are not in it themselves either don't know about it or hate it because of the way they see it portrayed online. The Miami balcony dudes, Lambos, watches, stupid expensive restaurants, clubs, all that dumb shit. Or they hate it, they're extremely skeptical because people like to promise crazy stuff to sell a course like a guaranteed placement or 10K per month in 90 days. These things are not only unlikely, but mildly illegal to offer to somebody without a track record of them being legit, especially promising income. Nobody can get that income for you. We'll talk about that more in a bit. So is the hate and the skepticism justified? Yeah, it is. Because there are a few players that smear the reputation of the entire industry. It makes sense why people see it the way that they do. I would as well. Same with insurance, solar, pest, real estate, tech, medical equipment, and cars. Any sales industry, you can find negative stuff about that too. So if it's justified, should I do it? Well, I can't tell you if this is going to work for you or not, but there is a legitimate opportunity for the people that can get through the noise and get to the right gig. So if you approach this industry with realistic expectations, you can make some pretty solid stuff happen. If you can find something quality to sell, which is another component of this, you don't want to sell anything that's not legit, doesn't make you feel good and warm and fuzzy inside. This can be one of the best uses for your sales ability that you will find, and I stand behind that. For the people in it, it's very common to be sold a dream by some kid who learned how to sell, hit a 10K month, and realize that if he just learned a scalable marketing channel and kept selling, but for himself, he can potentially make a lot more money. And unfortunately, many of these kids are so blinded by the quick money that this is usually short-lived because fulfillment falls apart, then they disappear back into the shadows. The root of the problem is people oversell the opportunity to people regardless of their background or likely outcome. Just like any sales job, you can make a lot of money doing it, but there can only be so many people at the top, and this goes for any industry. We get to talk about the fun stuff. Is high ticket sales a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing company? Let's talk about pyramid scheme. Short answer, no. ChatGPT tells me a pyramid scheme is a scam where people earn money mainly by recruiting others and not selling real products. You pay to join with the promise of high returns. You're told you'll earn money by recruiting others to join under you. Those recruits must also bring in new people to keep the system going. Eventually, the structure collapses because there aren't enough new recruits to sustain payouts. There's no legitimate product or service generating real revenue, just money flowing upwards from new members to old ones. When growth stops, this dies. Before we talk about that, if you come into this industry and you sell a fitness coaching program to people who need to get in better shape, they're giving you money, you're earning a commission, and they're going to get in better shape. That is not an MLM. That is not a pyramid scheme. A little bit more on this in a sec. Let's talk about MLM. Honestly, guys, these things are very similar. Definition from ChatGPT is a legal model where salespeople earn from their own sales and their recruit sales. The short answer is no, this is not that. Unless you think sales management is an MLM, then you'll have a bone to pick with every industry that has a sales manager, VP of sales, or CRO. Now, here's something important to note, guys. There are both pyramid schemes and MLMs that look similar to high-ticket businesses. Similar marketing channels, social content, allure, promises, but there is a difference in the way money is made by the members and the employees. If you've ever heard the saying, a square can be a rectangle, but a rectangle cannot be a square, that kind of exists here. The premise of high-ticket sales could hypothetically be a pyramid scheme, but high ticket sales in and of itself is not a pyramid scheme or an MLM. Like you can make a pyramid scheme or an MLM for any business. Common ones are like, insurance, financial services, stuff like that. But let's talk about the one that's like more similar, I feel like, which is the pyramid scheme. There are a few instances where people may claim high ticket sales looks like a pyramid scheme. So sales reps sell training or programs for others to do the same. Some sell training without actively doing it themselves, and a few recruit people to sell under them rather than serve clients. So high ticket sales, in my opinion, is not a pyramid scheme because you earn from selling actual products and services, not from just recruiting people with money that then goes to a pool. They are exchanging money for a product or service. You are earning a commission on the money They are getting a service in exchange. You are not getting paid from their money and then they need to go get other people to bring money in order for them to get paid. Some of these offers, they're not even money related. Goods being exchanged is what fund the business, not recruiting. Unless you're a recruiting business. And even then, that's not a pyramid scheme. Growth comes from results and reputation, not constant new signups. There are definitely a few guys, and like I said, square can be a rectangle, rectangle can't be a square. There's definitely a few that toe the line. So just be sure to do your due diligence if you ever decide to work with someone in this space. The biggest red flag in my mind would be, do they charge people money to then come and do the same for the people under them? Like, so you charge someone to join a program. Then when they get in the program, they literally paid so that they could sell your program to other people and then just forever make potentially like residuals off the people that they bring in and just pyramid. That is not what this is. Great next topic here. Do I have to pay someone to do this? Just finding out. I think I wrote over some of my slides or I deleted it again late night. Before I get into the continued, the short answer is no. You do not have to pay someone to do this. You can go to the open market, find these jobs, apply just like everybody else. However, there are pros to paying someone who knows what they're doing to work with them. That is the same in any industry ever. You want to go learn how to do Airbnb instead of wasting your money and wasting your time and potentially making $0 because that's what a failure is in that space and this one. There are benefits to working with people. So if you don't need to, why do people do it? Well, besides some people doing it because they've been sold the idea that it is possible without. Jobs come inbound to you through some form of chat or channel. You get alongside others who are also going through the same process or have gone through it. You get support, guidance, reassurance when needed. You get help performing due diligence on roles, which are costly if bad, even zero. I've already told you that. You get to cut the learning curve down tremendously. You get to create an insurance policy of a network for rainy day offers should something happen to yours versus going back to the open market and crossing your fingers. You get to have a direct ongoing contact with people who know this industry better than you. You get to leverage the name on your resume or interviews to increase odds of whatever trainings or programs you're in. You get to learn from other members on things both good and bad. You get to have fun with cool people. You get to not be a lone wolf. And you get to overall just increase your odds of success by stacking all of this in your favor. If there were two realities and one of them you have all of this and one of them you have none of this, which of those do you think is going to get you where you want to be faster? And which of those is going to make this a more for sure thing? Not guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. Which one would it be unreasonable to not get what you want? Think about that and get back to me. Is job placement real? Rarely and not at scale. A job placement implies that the person performing it has hiring say on enough teams to force them to hire you. I know the biggest names in the space on both sides of placement, the sales trainers and the businesses. It's just not true at scale, and certainly not for an extended period of time. An intro is not a job placement. A group chat, no. An interview, no. The odds that each of their students are the perfect fit for a company that they have hiring say for is slim to none. Square peg in a round hole situation. I have a whole video on this. How do I know? I've done placement without it being guaranteed. So I've charged people to join the community I run, then I've gone and charged for recruiting services, and oftentimes they weren't the same people that were coming in to meet in the middle. Again, I have a whole video on this. Underrated, only 450 views, but it's 2 years old. All of this is still true. You guys have probably heard this saying, right? Give a man a fish, you feed him for a day, teach a man to fish, and you feed him for life. This is the same premise as job placement. When your parents taught you this lesson, it wasn't to just get the fish from the man that's handing out fish. It was to go learn how to fish, right? So why does that change in this industry? Especially for people that are supposed to be driven and competitive. Why are you looking for a handout? Don't be lazy and put your success in somebody else's hands. Now, how do I guarantee success? Shocker, you don't. Nothing in life is guaranteed. Even you waking up tomorrow, not guaranteed. Your best shot at this is by controlling what you can control. Keep going when it gets hard, make changes when you fall short, iterate and stay consistent. Now, this is not rocket science, guys. It's 2025. A sales job on the internet should not be very far-fetched. There are only so many things you can mess up. This is far easier than starting a business. You only have to learn sales and that's it. Sell yourself, sell to others. Marketing agency, you got to learn marketing, you got to learn sales, you got to learn web design, you got to learn copy, you got to learn operations, you got to learn hiring, recruiting. Dude, screw that. Learn sales, sell yourself, then go sell for others. So much easier. And honestly, not even to mention, you'll probably make more money in sales than with a marketing agency. If we're just looking at the stats across the board. Agencies and other businesses have this thing called cost of goods. Salespeople do not have that. What you make is typically 100% profit. Can someone else guarantee me success? Hell no. Nobody will ever care more about your own success than you will. And that's why I say if you don't care, if you don't want it, then don't even try. A verbal or paper guarantee means nothing unless one party is willing to pursue wrongful action or inaction. There's many reasons why this is the case, but we are not talking about that in this video. Nobody can apply for you. Nobody can interview for you. Nobody can train for you. Nobody can sell for you. How can they guarantee you anything? Is it saturated? At the bottom, yes, there is no shortage of lazy people who want handouts, people who are sold the dream of this being easy, $20K a month from the beach with a margarita. There's never any shortage of unskilled labor in any market ever. At the top, or at least further from the bottom, no, there's always room for competitors. Just like sports, sales is similar to sports if you aren't familiar. The middle can do well, but the top makes a killing. If you are not competitive, this may not be the right option for you. There are less people at the top, but the competition is more fierce. And I will say, generally speaking, 70 to 80% of all the people in high ticket sales are in that have never done anything category, never had a job, never had any real results. So if you can get past that, it gets a lot easier, even if the competition is more fierce, because there's a lot of opportunity. I've been seeing it a lot lately. People can't find good, high quality sales reps. They can find appointment setters. They can't find good closers. So here's how you win. You gain leverage from every unique experience that you have that others don't, as it may pertain to sales. If and only if you know how to articulate why that creates separation between you and the rest, will it work? There are three main criteria that you'll compete against others on. One is sheer amounts of sales experience regardless of the industry. Two is high ticket sales industry experience and or results. Three is unique niche experience like Airbnb, fitness, lead generation. The silent fourth category is who you know. And as you gain experience in any of these categories, you become more qualified than others. So you just got to learn how to present that. Do a lot of people fail? I think you know where I'm going with this. Yes, most people fail at sales, regardless of the industry. How many people do you know that used to be in sales? And how many people do you know that used to be in commission-only sales? High ticket sales is not guaranteed. It's not easy, but it can yield outcomes that are hard to find in other places if you can problem solve long enough. You must be ready to compete, eat what you kill, or you don't eat at all. Some people love that. Some people hate it. How do I land the best jobs? The best jobs will always come through who you know, personal connection, or an exclusive group of some sort that shares roles. You can land quality jobs without this, but you are fighting an uphill battle. If you can manage to apply faster than others, which is going to be rare, you likely won't have as good of a presentation or preparation for this industry compared to someone who's been working on that specifically. Besides that, they'll traditionally come from recruiters and agencies. They're not on LinkedIn, they're not on Indeed, not on Glassdoor. There's a few over there on LinkedIn, but man, your best bet's going to be go look at free Facebook groups if you're not really connected to people who have access like this. Access like this, by the way. Hopefully you can see. This is from this month. At the top is the 1st of October. At the bottom is the 3rd of October. I couldn't tell you how many jobs this is at the top of my head. You can see the type of role, mostly all setter and closer. You can see the on-target earnings. You can see the niche of the service. And there's a job post link. It doesn't matter to you. You can't click on it. But you can see the niche, what all these people are selling. You got some data analyst career opportunity, fitness coaching, men's health, life and trauma coaching, land flipping offer, day trading, faceless IG pages, clothing brand, BizOp, business acquisition, AI implementation, football mentorship, Amazon, martial arts, tax and accounting, vending. Dude, anything under the sun. So now we got this far. You might be wondering, how can you help me do this? I run the serial sales community. We help people with the hardest part of this whole industry. It's landing good jobs fast despite not having industry experience and also knowing how to do it yourself sustainably. We run a structured 4-week process to turn people into the most prepared applicants possible. And we post about 350 open sales roles per month. That doc I just showed you, you can find that doc in the description. I think it's the 4th or 5th link. It's a Google sheet. You can see it for all the months going back. Sales training is not a moat. More people than you'd probably assume have sales training now, so it's just not enough. There are thousands of hours of free training from the best in the world on YouTube. Go watch it. Becoming aware of good jobs before others, then competing before the interview against hundreds, despite your past experience. That is our forte. I like to say getting people into jobs that they would have otherwise been disqualified for. That is our forte. So again, 2023, 24, 25. We've got these people flying to Austin, Texas. We got these people with their trophies for 10K, 20K, 30K per month. We got 15 hours of one-on-one full interviews. By the way, I always run these interviews and I make them intentionally, not just like, hey, how was the community? Tell us how awesome we are. I go A through Z, the entire journey, the hard stuff before the community up to the big milestone that they hit. And so if you want a pretty transparent look into how to go from zero to success in this industry. These interviews, 51 of them, go watch them. I'll link it at the end of this video. There's going to be a playlist. If you want to learn more, go to the first link in the description, serialsalescommunity.co. That is our community page and explainer video. Last link in the description is all of the open jobs that we share, updated by month. If you want to learn for free, I post 2 YouTube videos per week. Thursday is always educational. Sundays behind the scenes. You can check my education playlist. There's over 50 videos in there. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. I post wins. This is my 6th wins highlight. The other 5 were full. That's 100 screenshots of people getting hired, getting commissions, quitting jobs, hitting record months, record weeks, record days, big milestones. Who knows by the time you see this video how many you will have. That's what it's looking like. You can also go to serialsales.co. That's the video, you guys. Hopefully you know, one, what high ticket sales is, and you know a little bit more about the industry in terms of the truth, the real spill. My whole goal in this industry is to cut through the noise with a level of authenticity that really resonates with serious people. I don't want people that, are here for a quick buck. I don't want people who think it's easy. I want people who are here because they know they have a skill and this is a vehicle that is genuinely intriguing to them. That was me. I left a really high paying roofing sales job like right after school. It was like career suicide to go in on this. I had that internet money bug. I had that laptop lifestyle bug. Remote closing was good for me, but what I've been able to do beyond that changed the trajectory of my life. I have my dream life. 3 years ago, I was driving a Ford Focus, freaking fuel efficient Ford Focus. Last week, I went to an F1 invite only exclusive car meet and they said, "Hey, do you want to park your car next to this R8? I said, "Shit, I guess." I got mogged. I have an old Porsche now. I always knew I was going to figure it out. I didn't know I'd figure it out as well as I have. I still have a lot of work to do, but getting into remote closing and just building, stacking skills and meeting people, getting in the right rooms, moving to a new city changed the trajectory of my life. And if you're looking for a big change and you're ready to put it on the line, it's not a bad opportunity. If you guys have any questions, comments, leave them in the comments below or shoot me an email at dylan@serialsales.co. And that's going to be it for this one. That was a lot of talking. I'll see you guys in the next video.